Alright, hello all you crazy people out there, my name is Dragonite, and welcome back to Harvest December. Even though it's actually August. Anyway, Yuki paddled through the water on a donut float. I really want a picture of that on the top screen. Like, the next scene had better be a picture of Yuki in a donut float. Whenever she kicked her legs, she created splashes several meters high. When she stopped to rest, "Yuki's sinking!" Mizuho and Sakura would scream in panic. How does she manage to sink when the water is so shallow? It only comes up to her waist, Sine commented as she continued to make a sandcastle by my feet. Aren't you going to help her, Sine? I can't afford to cause any more trouble. You mean you can't swim either? At least I can stay afloat. I'm not surprised. Hey, what are you looking at? Your natural floaters. It's also what Yuki lacks. No wonder she sinks. I don't know if anatomy works like that. I could be wrong, but I don't think anatomy works like that. Oi! Ow! You didn't have to punch me, Kohai, you lucky man. Yuki will kill you if she hears that. I think she'll kill me anyway. You could say that with such conviction, I'm inclined to believe you. Anyway, sexual harassment is especially nasty coming from a married man. I'm not married. Anyway, also, you should speak for yourself. I turned towards Sine. Sine, do you remember he was happily Did you know he was happily rubbing lotion all over Mayuri while you weren't looking? How could you? Sine stood up and Kohai began to flee. I was glad I noticed while I took a stroll on the beach. She stood still, curled with her knees under her chin, just the way I had found Yuki a while ago. There was a slimmering anger in her eyes, just like the first time I met her. She was still staring out into the horizon. This was the raw emotion I wanted to see. I could hear her grinding her teeth, even through the billowing wind and constant rush of the seashore. Do I amuse you? I wouldn't have realized she had addressed me had she not looked my way. You noticed. You were standing pretty close. I didn't think you were aware of your surroundings. Are you going to just stand there? I took a seat behind her. You are right. I was looking, but I wasn't seeing. Why are you so frustrated? I'm here, but I'm not. You're talking about belonging. Belonging? I almost turned my head to search for Yuki. It was a similar question she had asked me just minutes before. Where do you belong? Where? Don't ask me funny questions. I'm not that smart. How about there? I pointed to where everyone was. No. Then... I'm floating. Where? Between being a god and being a human. Megari looked away. I didn't matter anymore, not now that I was out of her vision. She stared out again, ignoring me. You were angry. Megari murmured something in response, as if she had remembered something. Her eyes dulled. I shouldn't have mentioned it. I was just about to thank you for not telling. I like it when you're frustrated. You know, I make myself avoid many things. For example, I try not to get too close to people, so I don't get frustrated like you do. It's not like I enjoy being this way, but I like it when you show off your emotions. It's raw. I like you just fine, and even if you don't enjoy being yourself. You shouldn't say things like that so easily. Megari smiled softly. I was supposed to duel you at the Rokushuki at the Island Festival. The girl we met at your place? I recalled her bumping into that girl and looking just as frustrated as Megari on the day we arrived. The Rokushiki Festival isn't something that anybody can participate in. You got to prove your worth by passing a test the Island Priestess gives you. I looked towards the two practicing the martial arts. Naomi kicked Nanaki, causing her stringy bikini to slide. Nanaki screamed. You didn't pass the test. This is almost as bad as the character Yu from Bravely Second. I'm just gonna point that out there. Well then, it can't be helped that No, I'll rephrase. She didn't even take the test. So, she came to talk about it that day? I didn't need to listen to her excuses. She was afraid of me, that's all. She didn't belong either. That is such a convenient word. She seemed pleased that I was able to put her problem in words. Megari stood up. I want to thank you. By wearing a string bikini. That's not what she's wearing on the top screen. If you really want me to. No thanks, I was just kidding. Am I not attractive enough? What kind of question is that? I don't win no matter how I answer you. I stood up to follow her. Megari laughed quietly and began to lead the way. Where are you taking me? She took me to a cave. Okay, so it is haunted. Judging by the top screen. to counter her point earlier in the story about it not being haunted and why does everybody ask that. Here we are. These are Kagami crystals. You know about them, she drawled. I realized this was the way she usually spoke when she was in her element, long, drawn-out syllables. These are huge. They're the largest clusters of crystals. There were large clusters of crystals growing from the bottom to the top of the cave, covering the entire ceiling. They glowed softly, illuminating the cave so that there was no need for a torch, even when the sunlight wouldn't reach the area we were standing in. I can hear the voices clearly here. You mean the voice of the gods? You're so easy to talk to. You understand. There was that incident. The day I met Megari, she was having a conversation with herself. I talk to them often. Do you belong with them? I just talk with them. That was all. Will you keep it a secret? Megari asked as she placed a hand on the crystals. Tomomi and Maoto-san would be really interested in this place. Please don't tell. What do I have to do so you won't tell? I won't tell. That's really good of you, boy. Oh, the red text again. Who is it? I knew I could trust you, Misaki-san. I wouldn't be so sure. Why don't you take some precautions? Oh, green text now. He's loyal to things that aren't close to him. But you can't really trust him. He's only being nice because that's the thing to do. You're the gods of Rokushiki. I am the god of Rokushiki. Did you want to speak to me? I am the other half, the servant god that has received a portion of the powers. I must know you better, child. You have gained Megari's trust. She is grateful that you have put her problem into words. The gods laughed through Megari's mouth. Where were you two? I knew this would happen. By the time we returned to the beach, Yuki was waiting angrily with her hands on her hips. Okay, it's gonna be like stabby time, isn't it? But it was hard to find her intimidating when she was wearing that ridiculous swimsuit. I actually feel shy for you when you wear that. You pervert. Oh, so I'm in the wrong now. You were with Megari for a long time, just the two of you, and you didn't tell me where you were going. We were just talking. Did you try persuading her to do all sorts of things for you? I'm sure you did. And here I thought trust was important. I knew it was impossible to convince her otherwise, but I still had to make a retort. Megari, what did Masaki do to you? Or what did you do to him? Yuki, where do you stand? What are you saying? Where do you belong? With Masaki. Is that so? Yuki's look of confusion slowly faded away. You're so sure, Megari said as she nodded to herself thoughtfully. I knew Yuki had understood what Megari meant. Her expression of confusion had changed into something strong, akin to a warrior. Megari! Naomi came running, kicking up the sand as she pounded the shore with her feet. She grabbed hold of the back of my collar the moment she got close. Molester? Why does everybody think of me that way? Face. Maybe I should just die now. Megari. He asked if I would wear what Yuki is wearing now. Demolition. Naomi clenched her fist in the most terrifying manner. She probably meant to crush me to powder. I said I was joking. Misaki, do you mean my wearing that is not enough for you? Yuki, I think you're angry for the wrong reasons again. Is she always angry for the wrong reasons? Or rather, a better question would be, is she ever angry for the right reasons? I couldn't stop talking out of fear. I don't mind wearing one if Misaki wants me to. Do you know what that means to taint Ichimonji woman? Taint an Ichimonji woman? Naomi's eyes glittered in fury. It was bad she was speaking in full sentences. I didn't want to die. Sister, Masaki didn't do anything wrong. If you say so, Megari. Naomi let go of me grudgingly. Fourth station. Can you explain what you mean, please? Marriage registration. Excuse me? If you want to marry into the Ichimonji family, you must be learned in finances and economics and discipline yourself to be a humanitarian. But you may take your time with learning with Megari. First, you must go through the proper procedure. The fourth station in Town Hall will help with the marriage registrations. This is not going to end well, is it? Naomi-san, I think you got things wrong. Wait, Yuki, how did you take your Kirimari out of your swimsuit when there's nothing to hide him in? Please don't kill me. I blabbered uncontrollably. I know you haven't done anything with Megari yet, but I still think you deserve punishment. But I got a proper thrashing in that and was tossed into the sea. That's another sound I've got to never make again. The salt water stung like mad, causing me to roll around the sand in agony. Why do you keep attracting other girls to yourself when you've got me? Yuki whispered as I continued to suffer. I pretended not to hear her. Good job, everyone. Anyway, I'm gonna end this off here. My name is Dragonite. I hope you all enjoyed that. And I'll see you all later. Hey, it's the title card.